I'm Julie De Palma.
And I'm Amy Zhang.
And today we're going to be teaching you about comparative advantage, absolute advantage,
and input and output.
Alright, so let's get started. Okay. In this problem, it's going to be dealing with input of square feet to produce apples and lemons.
For Julia, it takes 2 square feet to produce 1 lemon, while for me, it takes 4 square feet to produce 1 lemon as well.
Amy takes 4 square feet to produce 1 apple, and I take 9 square feet to produce 1 apple. So now we're going to show you how to solve this problem. So here's the production possibility curve for both Julia and Amy and the production of lemons and apples. This graph shows the amount of land necessary to produce 1 apple or 1 lemon. So at full capacity, Julia would need 9 square feet of land to produce 1 apple or 2 square feet of land to produce 1 lemon. And for Amy at full capacity would need 4 square feet of land to produce 1 apple or 4 square feet of land to produce 1 lemon.
This is an input problem because it takes into account the amount of land that is used to produce the final good, rather than the quantity of the final good being produced.
So this table is just another example of how we can show the production possibilities for both Julia and Amy. Now this problem is going to be talking about the absolute advantage currently. Absolute advantage is essentially determining by the numbers who is best at producing each product. For this input problem, we need to remember that the lower numbers indicate greater efficiency because they mean that less land is used to produce the same amount of product.
Comparative advantage deals with determining who has the least opportunity cost in terms of the opposing product. For this input problem, we are going to use a special trick. It's called other goes under. To use this trick in the example to find a comparative advantage for lemons, divide the number for the opposing product by the number for the lemons. For Julia, you would divide 2 by 9.
We repeat the same process for Amy to determine her opportunity cost. Her opportunity cost is 1. This number means that to produce 1 lemon, it would cost 1 square foot of land that could have been used to produce an apple. To determine who has the comparative advantage, compare the opportunity costs for each person. In this case, since Julia has the lower opportunity cost, she has the comparative advantage in lemon production.
We would then repeat the same process using the other goes under trick, but using the square footage for lemons as the other this time. After doing the math out, you can see that Amy has a comparative advantage in apple production.
Now we're going to show you guys a different example using output, and we're going to show you how the problem is different.
Using shirts and markers.
All right. This graph shows the production possibility frontiers of China and Spain concerning the production of shirts and markers. Note that this deals with the quantity of shirts or markers being produced per hour. At full capacity, China produces 3 shirts or 6 markers, while Spain produces 4 shirts or 2 markers.
This is an output problem, which means that we are only taking into account the amount of product being produced in a given amount of time.
Because this example deals with output and how much each country can produce, absolute advantage is determined by who can produce the most. For this output problem, we are going to use another trick. This one is called other goes over. To use this trick in the example to find the comparative advantage for shirts, divide the number of the opposing product, in this case markers, by the number for the shirts. For China, you would divide 6 by 3.
We're going to repeat the same process for Spain to determine the opportunity cost. In this case, you would divide 2 by 4. This would mean that the opportunity cost for Spain is 0.5, which is less than China's opportunity cost of 2. Therefore, Spain has a comparative advantage in shirt production.
To determine the comparative advantage for markers, we would repeat the process using the other goes over trick again. In this case, the quantity of shirts would be the other, so the number for the quantity of shirts would be divided by the number for the quantity of markers. In this case, we find that China has the lower opportunity cost compared to Spain and thus has the comparative advantage in marker production. Thank you for listening and good luck on your AP exams.